Hello. I'm Anabultus, and today I'm going to be reminiscing a bit about the last 4 years on YouTube. So you can see that my very first YouTube video was published on December 7th, 2014, which is, of course, about 4 years ago. I don't know exactly when I'm going to be publishing this video, but it should be about 4 years I'm sorry, after this video was published, about give or take a few days. So, man, I'm still using the same computer I used back then. Right now, my computer crashes on a regular basis. I frequently have to clean my hard drive to get rid of video files, which is an ongoing process as I'm making videos, since I'm not using an external hard drive, so I have to use my main hard drive to clear all my video files. In addition to that, I also use my computer for practically everything else I use a computer for, so I don't really have a dedicated YouTube computer, which of course means that everything really takes a while for me to go through things. So anyway, here is the very first video. Still only has 24 views way back then, December 7th, 2014, 1:54 a.m. Now, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a hint. That time is not actually the daytime that the video was published on, in the sense that I have always, since the beginning of using YouTube, I've switched my computer clock to UTC, and that is why a lot of these videos look like they were published at a weird time. That's because I used UTC to publish them. So we've got Civ 3, Season 1, Episode 1, A Gentle Relaxing Game. I had Civilization 3 on my computer, and I decided to play this game. Now, I think this is the only video that I used a different... I had used a different video program for recording before I started using Fraps, as you can see the next video that came out a few days later. So I had used this recording. I don't even remember what it's called. I could go click on the video, but I'm not going to, because I don't really want to ruin what I'm looking at here for the moment. So I used that, and I didn't like it very much. So I switched over to using Fraps, and I did a bit of a test on Mount & Blade. I think I was using Florismod for this episode, and that's a little bit of a 5-minute video. So as you can see, the length of my videos have never really been consistent as I've been doing YouTube. So the first video is 32 minutes, and some months earlier, I think I had tried making a Minecraft video, but for some reason the program I was using to record wasn't working well with Minecraft, so it was almost as if I had permanent sticky keys while playing Minecraft, which is a very weird way to play, and I don't recommend it to anyone. Then a day after that, I decided to record a full episode on Mount & Blade, and I used the Romae Bellum mod, which is a Roman-themed mod. Made a 26-minute episode. I, of course, titled my videos with the expectation that they may each be the beginning of a series or a season, and therefore I put the episode number in the title. And the reason I did that is because of the frustration that I frequently felt, and I still do this today, the frustration I frequently felt when I tried watching a series of videos and the title of a video wouldn't necessarily tell me which video was next. because frequently the titles were arbitrary, so you may accidentally watch a video out of order, which is not something I like doing. So I made sure that that wouldn't happen to my audience, and that's why I made sure I put season and episode numbers in all the titles of my videos from then on. Now, I don't really put season titles anymore. Well, I actually still do to some extent. It really depends on which series it is. Some series I do, some I don't. I generally try to have a similar format for each series, in the sense that I want all the episodes in one series to have the same title format, which means if I were to, let's say, make another episode of Blood and Steel, which I still can, I still have the save for that, I would put I would use the same format with Blood and Steel. I think it's season 2 now, and then the episode number, and then the individual episode title. And as you can see, the first real series that I had any viewership in is Blood and Steel. But again, this is over the course of 4 years, so those 30 views probably didn't happen at the same time. Then Blood and Steel continued on, and these 5 videos, actually, Blood and Steel Season 1, Episodes 1 through 5, are what I call the Christmas special. And you can tell by the dates that they came out on. December 24th, December 24th, December 25th, December 25th, December 26th. Now, what had happened is I had spoken to another YouTuber. I don't think he still makes videos, which is a recurring theme when I look at people I used to partner with back in the day. Most of them are gone. Especially after 4 years, you look at how Ninja comes out of nowhere and suddenly is really big, and you look at T-Series suddenly being really big, while let's say I've been on the platform making videos for 4 years, and I don't really make much progress at all. And I, in fact, make some setbacks, because even though now I have 100 subscribers, I'm not monetized anymore due to changes that occurred in early 2018 with YouTube's monetization policy. So I can't be monetized anymore. And I was actually making a tiny bit of money, and I was trying to maybe build a career off of that, but that ship sailed. And so anyway, I made the Christmas special. I recorded 5 episodes of Blood and Steel in the course of one afternoon on Christmas Eve. So that's about, I'm looking at it, about 3 hours of content. Or is it 2 hours to be more accurate, actually, now that I look at it. 2 hours of content, but I spent the rest of the day editing and publishing all these videos, one after the other. And so over the course of those 3 days, they published, and that was the Christmas special. So if I ever refer to the Christmas special, when I'm talking about my videos, it's these videos right here. So then later on, I saw that Blood and Steel wasn't doing very well. Actually, no, that's not what happened at all. I didn't expect anything to do well since I didn't have any viewer base. I recorded in batches, and you can see that here. I made 5 episodes of Blood and Steel. Then later in December, I made 5 episodes of Minecraft Survival Multiplayer, Season 1. And I don't think that season was very big. Advanced Base. I don't remember exactly what happened in Season 1, but I think I didn't actually play with anyone else in that season, so it didn't go very well. Then Blood and Steel, going on for another batch of recordings. And I'm now switching to the next set of episodes. Now, I wish that there were a button that allowed me to view this by oldest, but there isn't, which actually annoys me a bit. I think there should be. So anyway, Blood and Steel, I made another set, ended up with 12 episodes of Blood and Steel. another Minecraft multiplayer, and this was a one-off where I had played multiplayer games. And the reason it's called How to Cheat is because I had, I think, Wyla installed, and it apparently works on servers since it's a UI-based mod. So I unintentionally ended up cheating at the Minecraft equivalent of Gmod's Prop Hunt. So I think it's Block Hunt or something it was called. I didn't really realize I was doing it until afterwards, but when I realized it was a big realization, I could have used that. But also, I hope I don't get banned for accidentally doing that. And I put it on the internet, and I still didn't get banned from that server, so I'm a bit happy that didn't happen. And I was in collaboration with someone, and I think that's where the comment comes from. I think it was Lucy, which at the time I referred to as the patient. But that person's channel, Captain Cabinets, is also now a dead channel. It's still available to watch, I think, but and I've never actually been on that channel, even though I tried to have us both record. I really tried to maybe build up a group of people that, since we were living in the same area, I was hoping we could make videos together and kind of grow big, sort of have something similar to Yog Towers, but that never happened. Yeah. So anyway, I made another batch of Blood and Steel going into January. I tried doing a Minecraft single player episode, but for some reason I had really bad lag. So that only lasted 11 minutes and I rage quit. And Blood and Steel kept going out, and as you can see, I frequently uploaded 2 episodes per day in many cases, and I don't do that anymore, but that's how prolific I was back in the day. Minecraft Survival Multiplayer Season 2, where I actually had I was playing with the team on Captain Cabinets, I believe. And then the first Wilt Pod, which was a podcast that I had tried doing as early as January 19th, apparently. And then going further into more Blood and Steel, Survival Multiplayer, January 30th, February 2nd, Blood and Steel, Morality, and Crowd Surfing. And I don't remember exactly when my first big hiatus came, because I've had a number of hiatuses where I just stopped making videos for months on end. But anyway, I go for February, I'm making more Blood and Steel. That seemed to really be the series that I was most motivated to continue, since I really enjoyed it, even though I think by this point in the series, it had essentially jumped into a point where every episode was the same, because I had gotten stuck into a massive siege where I had literally thousands of enemy soldiers besieging me, going at the town that I was in round after round. And instead of sallying out to fight an army of literally thousands, which would be a really dumb move, I decided to stay under siege and continue to be besieged for what essentially amounted the rest of the series. But anyway, I then started doing some Skyblock as this was going on. And for some reason, actually I think this is based on uploading and not actually publication. I'm pretty sure I already started scheduling. No, I didn't schedule my videos, which is kind of weird. Or maybe there was scheduling metadata and it's disappeared over the years. That could be it. But anyway, I did a lot of Skyblock by my own, and that was a lot of fun. More Blood and Steel. Wilt Pod Episode 2 comes months after Episode 1. So let me just check. February March and April 2015 apparently was my first big hiatus. But I came back at the end of May, well, to be more exact, at the beginning of June. This Sound Test 1 is an unpublished video, and it essentially, the only purpose of it is to serve as a test for the YouTube algorithm to see if it would, the content ID algorithm, to see if it would content ID my video, or specifically the music I used in this video. Because although it was royalty-free music and I technically had the right to use it, I had a problem that frequently, even though I was using royalty-free music, I was not able to, I would still get copyright claims on it because it's classical music and there's multiple performances of classical music, and each performance is technically speaking copyrightable. And unfortunately, if two good performances sound the same, it means that theoretically speaking, you can get copyrighted on different performances of the same song, even if the song itself is not copyrighted. And that, of course, was a big problem that I tried to deal with. And that's why I began making my own music in order to go around this issue. Because before this, I was using a website that had a lot of royalty-free classical music that I was using in my Blood and Steel episodes. But after this, I really had to make an effort to make my own music, or to contract with DJ Wilhelm, whose music I am still allowed to use, although I don't use it very much. I use my own music and remixes of music from others more nowadays. So, of course, this is only the tip of the iceberg, since I've published 827 videos onto YouTube. Now, that being said, there is it feels like it's almost yesterday that I had 300 videos, and I'm thinking, whoa, that's a lot of videos. But now it's more than twice that. But anyway, more Blood and Steel, more Sky Factory, and that's when I tried doing a Skyrim series. And the Skyrim series had the problem that it was very laggy, and the videos were difficult to edit due to the large file size that I would get with Fraps. Because at this point, I was still exclusively using Fraps. And unfortunately, after episode 3, I discontinued the series. And, well, actually, no, after episode 6, I believe. But I continued, and so we see for the summer of 2015, and doing more Minecraft SMP, more Skyblock, and then eventually, after about a year of being on YouTube, I made a little montage of some videos that I had done previously, not the videos themselves, but some interesting moments. So that was a highlights reel. I never did that again, just to let you know. Then I tried doing some Minesweeper X, which is a game I still have, but that never went really popular. But anyway, 2015, surprisingly, is the beginning of my Stronghold Crusader AI tournament. And this original AI tournament I eventually discontinued in favor of Season 2, which was a lot better. But anyway, I ended up doing Blood and Steel for longer. Voltpod continued, and whoa, I just noticed this. On Voltos live streamed May 12, 2018 at 1:35 p.m. processing. I never streamed in May. Why is this still processing? That's so weird. When did I stream? That's so weird. I don't understand that. I do not understand what this is. This is... And why is it on 2018 when I've got my 2015 videos? That's kind of weird. Okay. So my second big hiatus is probably coming up in the next one, maybe. I still have a lot of pages, and I'm not going to go through them all. But 2016 came around, and the election started coming around, so I started talking about politics more. I made a little playlist of videos called Journey for German Political History in Musical Form. I'm not too proud of that playlist anymore. Not because it's bad, it's just, I look back at it kind of silly, but I'm not taking that down. Hitler finds out that Anawiltos posted another video. I went in on the trend of the Hitler rant, and I made one of my own using a website. So there's a copyright claim out on that, of course there is. And I also, at this point, I started making my own Mountain Blade mod, Calradia Overrun. But you may notice that there was a skip January to April. And that's because at the beginning of 2016, if I remember correctly, I was very busy with a number of things. And my stress had gotten to the point that I became physically ill. And that was very bad. So overall, 2016 was a bad year for me. But let's be honest, every year has been a bad year for me. So let's ignore that. Darkscape. I started playing Darkscape. I love Darkscape, but unfortunately, Darkscape went down. Even though I love playing it, essentially for me was a way to get to play RuneScape members without having to pay for it, and that's why I love playing it. Not gonna lie, that's the real reason. I also love PKing a little bit, killing KBD, stuff like that. That was fun stuff. Fun times. I was in a clan called the Cool Kids. The Cool Kids Club. Each word beginning with a K, and no, it's not racist. So Minecraft SMP, had some more of that, and MLG versus Fair Use. Man, I don't remember what that reference is. That's from, I think, a multiplayer game. But I'm sorry, a Minecraft mini game on some server, where I at this point in time, I was experimenting with doing a little bit of MLG montages at the end of some of my videos. But, so Big Questions, that was another discontinued series where I talked about political issues, and Blood and Steel, Skyblock, Stronghold Crusader, and that's when I started playing Zero AD. And I put out an invitation for people to dungeoneer with me on RuneScape. Nobody answered. But Zero AD is probably my most successful series of videos, and probably the one that I should continue the most. So maybe that's something I should be getting into more, doing Zero AD. And for some reason, why is episode 5 have so many views? That's so weird. The Pig and the Wazir. This is so weird. I don't understand this. I don't understand. I don't understand anything. Okay? I don't understand anything. But anyway, that's all I've really got to say about my early videos. Because after that situation where I started doing Zero AD, that's really where my channel really started taking off, where I actually started having some subscribers. And to make a long story short, I tried uploading multiple times a day. I was at one point trying to do 3 videos a day, which honestly wasn't sustainable. And eventually I dropped that, but I ended up playing other games like Free Civ, which is now called Isotrident, and that's where I am today. But anyway, I'm going to finish this video by showing you some old music that I made early on, just some nostalgia for those of you who are interested in it, and I guess a bit of a curiosity for those of you who aren't. So let me just make sure. Okay, my audio is on, so you should be able to hear this. Let's go with piece 1 here. Are you hearing that? So that is, I don't think I've published it onto my music playlist, but that is one of the earliest musical pieces I made with MuseScore, which is the software I use to make my music. And as you can see or hear, it is very procedural in the way that the music is made, as in it starts with one instrument and then it repeats, but that time another instrument comes in and it keeps going that, and it keeps going up, and then it starts going back down. You start having a reduction in the number of instruments as they reduce in the order that they first came in, as in you started out with a harpsichord, and the harpsichord is of course the first instrument to leave. So now at the end you're 2 instruments left, and then 1 instrument after that. And then each instrument has a bit of a solo after that. And of course you can hear on full display the problems, not necessarily problems, but the early sound fonts for MuseScore 1 weren't as good as the ones for MuseScore 2. So the music, the instruments sound a lot more artificial than in a lot of later pieces that I made. But it's still, it is a very experimental piece in that I was experimenting around with music and with composition, and I hadn't really worked out exactly my style, my musical style quite yet, and how I did things. And it ends just like that. So I'm gonna, and I don't think I really used that one specific musical piece very much. As far as I remember, I used it very rarely, if at all. So that was piece 1, and after writing piece 1, I started work on piece 2, which wouldn't be finished for a long time after that. So this was going in November of 2014, so I'm gonna pull out piece 3, which for a long-time viewer may be a bit more familiar. And that's piece 3, which I ended up using very frequently as either an intro or outro piece to a lot of my videos. It essentially became one of my trademark musical themes. And I also had piece 4 as well. And besides that, I also used piece 5. And as you can hear from piece 5, that piece survived a lot more into use as let's say, a piece that I ended up using in my my animated intro later on. So after that, in January of 2015, I began making some pieces for use in my Blood and Steel series. So this is piece 6. And it's a bit of a quick, I think it's guitar and harpsichord. I don't remember correctly. I do have the sheet music for it, so I might be able to look at it, but that's not what this video is about. So I'll show you piece 7. This is the first really action-y piece I tried to make, and it's not high octane, but it's supposed to reflect sort of musical commands given on a battlefield in some respects. And then piece 8 and 9 were also themed after for action sequences. So this is a bit of the first more faster piece, piece 8. It's got a bit of more suspenseful, more action-y feel to it than the previous piece. So I ended up using this one very frequently because I liked it a lot. And the main part of it repeats 3 times, if I remember correctly. So it's just about a minute long. And I also have piece 9 here. So this one makes a bit of a heavier use of percussion. And of course still uses the brass to sort of emphasize the military commands given in a battle, as brass instruments were used in some ancient armies for that purpose. And I think I also had a contrabass in there because, or contrabass as some like to say, because I like the instrument. But then moving later into January, that's when I started using some other music from Sousa and Wagner, both Wagners. And unfortunately, after that, I started getting a lot of copyright problems with my videos, even though I had used royalty-free versions of the songs. They were similar enough to other versions that they counted as under the YouTube algorithm, which unfortunately meant that very many of the cases where I tried to defend my monetization did not win out. So eventually later on in 2015, I began making some of my own music. So this is about mid-2015. And this isn't actually supposed to be a musical piece on its own. It was more supposed to be a backdrop for a rap song. And I ended up using it for that eventually. at the end of one of my Minecraft videos, if I remember correctly. But I didn't actually use it until long after I had made it. But at the same time, I started going for a bit of a new intro for my Blood and Steel series. So I ended up making a bit of a Blood and Steel spoken word, I guess is the way to say it. So here it is. And as you can hear, it's just me saying Blood and Steel several times simultaneously. So I'll just play the individual parts.
Blood and Steel.
So that was the first one, and the second one.
Blood and Steel.
And then the third one.
Blood and Steel.
Yeah, that one was kind of lame. The fourth one.
Blood and Steel.
And the fifth one.
Blood and Steel.
So that last one was a bit too phlegmatic, if I do say so myself. So later on, Piece 11 came out. And remember, Piece 2 hasn't been finished at this point yet. So this piece was also meant to be a bit more action-y as well. I think I actually like it. I may do a bit of a remix with a better sound font, perhaps. And I think it repeats from that point. So let me just skip to the end. And there you go, that's a piece 11. So as you can see, my music making skills eventually evolved over time. And at the same time, I was making remixes of other songs, but a lot of those didn't make it into my videos. But one that did was one of Preußen's Gloria. And this is an organ version that I had made. But it's a very well-known song, so I'm not going to play the whole of it, since you can just look it up. But if you want me to publish the organ version, just ask me. Anyway, piece 10. Finally, for some reason, I used piece 10 sometime after piece 11. Either that or I had miscounted. I don't remember. And piece 10 is a sort of a attempt to copy a certain French song that I think if you're hearing this, you may or may not know. Anyway, it didn't work very well. So here's another piece 11. And if I remember correctly, this might actually be two different piece 11s that I made. Yes, it is. I actually had two different pieces called piece 11s. The difference is one of them has a, it's not a hyphen, underscore between the piece and the 11, and the other one doesn't. And that's why I didn't notice that I had named them the same. And this piece is a bit of a trumpet-based piece, but it eventually evolves into a bit of a Preußen's Gloria, I think. But I think that's where I'll leave it off for today. So I'll be seeing you all next time.